Hi boys and girls, we miss you very, very much. And so I know at home things can get a little bit repetitive. Hopefully you've set your schedule and are doing all your homework, but sometimes we do need to let out a little bit of creativity, have a little fun, and just feel free to express ourselves artistically. So I came up with this little craft for you to do this month. What was our theme? It was the animal kingdom. So we were learning all about different kinds of wildlife, both in land, in the sky, in water. And today I created a craft of our underwater friend, the seahorse. And I love the seahorse because they are so beautiful to watch swim, and they're just really unique animal creatures. So, for this craft, all you need is a few simple things you can find around the home pretty easily. If not, as we go along the way, I can mention some substitutions, but feel free to get out your craft box and follow along with me. So, what you will need for this craft are some scissors. These are adult scissors, so get your safety scissors. We will also need a little cup with a paintbrush in it filled halfway with water. We will need some watercolors. If you don't have watercolors, you can use regular paint as well. I just like using watercolors because it sticks with sort of the underwater feeling, gives it a little depth, and I really like that look for the seahorse craft. You also need some glue. So this is liquid glue. A glue stick would be fine as well. And some googly eyes. If you don't have googly eyes, I just use a marker to do the eye. So just grab a marker or a crayon to draw your eye on as well. And then these are little cupcake tins, cupcake liners. Your mom and dad might have these around the house as well. If mine actually have color on them, but if they are white or plain, one color, feel free to color on them first. Get a little creative there, make it rainbow, make it stripes, however you wish, because we're gonna be using these for the fins of the seahorse. So the first thing you need to do is you need to go to mom and dad and ask them to print out a seahorse outline. So this was pretty easy to find online. I just typed in seahorse outline simple, and then I searched through which one I wanted to have. So you can help mom and dad pick one. Remember, you're not looking for the prettiest one, the one with all the stripes and lines, because we do want to be creative ourselves and we want to add our own depth into our seahorse. So a simple outline is fine. Print that out and you are ready to go. So, as you notice, the final product is cut out. I like to cut it out after just because it creates less mess. So, if you do have a placemat to put on your table as well, go ahead and do that, or a tablecloth, something to cover your space, to keep it nice and neat. So, without further ado, let's start. Feel free to follow along. So, I'm going to get my water and paintbrush first. And we're gonna start painting our seahorse. So I'm gonna do some little squiggles. This is where you can really get as creative as you want. Do polka dots, you can do lightning bolts, you can do zigzags. So I'm gonna use a couple different colors in mine. I wouldn't use all just one color just because we really want to make this seahorse shine, right? Take your time. This is not a race. As we always say, this project should be able to keep you busy for a little bit. Maybe if you're baking something while you're waiting for it in the oven. You have some animal cutter cookies, then you can maybe do a whole fun theme, have a little seahorse animal cookie snack after. So I think I'm going to use some blue next. I'm sticking with some underwater colors for this one. So in the ocean, we do see a lot of blue and green for the seaweed. And it's important that these animals, most animals blend into their surroundings so that they can hide from predators if they need to. And look, I'm almost done. You can leave some white space, but you know, you really do want to fill most of it up. And don't just do swigglies like me if you don't want to. Do polka dots, triangles, practice your shapes. So I really am happy with this. So if you want, since it is watercolor, it is a little bit wet still, as you can see the shiny part. So if you want, you can wait for that to dry. But I'm just gonna go ahead and show you, just because I'm not gonna hang it up right away, so that you can get on with your craft. Ooh. So the next step is the googly eyes. So I have one, and it's really small, but this is the only one I had at home. Remember, again, if you do not have a googly eye at home, you don't need to worry. You can draw it on with a marker, have fun once your page is dry enough, because that looks really cute too. So I'm sticking on my googly eye. Looks like this. See, it's a tiny eye, so maybe I should outline it. I think I am going to outline it too. Just to make it stand out a little bit more. So now you can see it a little bit better. Okay, and what we're going to do next is close our paint, because we don't want everything to make a big mess, right? If we're done with something, we want to keep it as tidy as possible. Keep your space neat, because you are an artist. So the next thing we're going to be doing is using these cupcake liners to embellish sort of like his fins. So along their back, they have like this nice big spike, but I'm just gonna exaggerate it a little bit, get a little creative, and add a bunch more. So with your scissors, simply cut the circle in half first, and then pretend it's like a pizza. So pizza slices are usually the shape of a triangle. So I know sometimes they can be squares, boys and girls, but for the most part, they are triangles. So you're just gonna cut these little shapes out like this. See how this one's pointy like a pizza and this one's not? You can cut off the point if you don't want it. So if you don't want the point and you just want the texture of the cupcake tin, then just cut that bottom part off. So you're gonna do that with a couple of these cupcake liners. So I've already cut a bunch, so I'm ready to go. And you're gonna start gluing. Remember, again, wait for this to dry. That's what's preference. You're gonna take your glue stick or your liquid glue, and you're just gonna use a little bit. We don't wanna get crazy with the glue. We just wanna use a little dab. A little dab. So I'm gonna start with the crown of my seahorse. And as I add another one, I can add another little dab of glue, stick it down. So I'm doing a little bit of overlapping here just to create that depth. Feel free to be as creative as you'd like. So for my first one, I put these all across the seahorse's back. But for this one, I think I'm gonna skip a little space and just do some more down here. Take your time, boys and girls. Remember, Miss Simon, I cut out all of these in advance. Take your time cutting, practice your cutting skills. It's a really great fine motor activity. So I think I might add one more here. And if you want, if mommy and daddy printed out a couple different seahorse outlines, you can make a couple to hang in your room. And they can have a little under the sea party. So for this one, I am happy with just adding that much. So it's gonna look a little different than my last one, and I'll show you both so you can compare. So you're gonna want this to dry completely before you cut it out. And again, if you don't wanna cut it out, you really don't have to. I just like to cut it out because then you can hang it up wherever you want. So you're gonna wait for this to dry completely before you cut it out. So this is what it looks like. He looks like he's swimming and having fun. And this is my other one. So I actually like both of them. This one, I did the cupcake liners all across the back, and remember I didn't outline the eye. And I think I'm getting better at this because this one I outlined the eye. I like that a lot better. And I just did a few little cupcake tins just to embellish and make my seahorse beautiful. So now this is gonna dry, and again, you can cut it out once it's dry. Ask mom and dad to help you cut it out if you're having a little trouble, but I know you've all practiced cutting on the line and cutting on wavy lines, so you can try yourself first. And if you don't want to cut it out, that's fine too, but I would suggest you make a beautiful ocean background. If you don't cut it out, maybe get out some pencil crayons or some pastels, or if you want to use the watercolors, again, feel free, and maybe create some bubbles in the background, some seaweed floating up. So I'll just do some little bubbles floating out of his mouth. And we'll fill those in blue, just so you can see what that will look like. Just a little bit. A little goes a long way. And then we're good to go. So I hope you have fun doing this seahorse craft. Again, we miss you very much. I'm thinking of all of you, and be good and have a great day. Bye.